welcome back to our second part of the video lecture of Unit 1. As we all know, Unit 1 it is the overview of stylistics. And on this slide, we are going to take a look at our Unit 1 outline. As you notice, there are 7 lessons that we will explore in the entire Unit 1. The first lesson is all about what is stylistics and followed by modern stylistics. Lesson 3 is the purpose of stylistics, and we go with lesson 4, which is rhetorics and history of stylistics. And of course, what is style? Focusing on the norm, individual, and functional style. Lesson 6, stylistics and levels of language. And lesson 7, expressive means and stylistic devices, focusing also on expressiveness and emotiveness. Now, on today's video, I am not going to discuss all lessons, but rather will only focus on the first 3 lessons, which are Lesson 1, what is stylistics, Lesson 2, modern stylistics, and Lesson 3, the purpose of stylistics. Now, always take note that everything that is discussed here on the PowerPoint presentation can also be found in the handouts that I shared on our Google Classroom. So, without further ado, I know you guys are very much excited to explore stylistics, so let's start. Now, there are definitely main terms that we need to take a look at on our exploration of the world of stylistics, and let's begin it with the word style. Probably you have already a previous schema on what style is. If we are going to take a look at into style, that would really direct us to the language of the author he or she used to present his or her piece. And of course, when you definitely, as the writer, determine your own style, you have to make sure that you definitely take a look at the features of the language. And all the aspects of language should be covered if we are going to take a look at the style. Next, the norm. Norm, it is an assemblage of stable means objectively existing in the language and systematically used. So just like when we say, you have to follow that because that is the norm of the society, meaning that is like the standard, that is something that is being prescribed or really set of things that we have to do, just like in language. Whatever language you are using, definitely they have rules, and in whatever aspect we have to follow, or else we may violate, and that is against the norm of the language or the target language that we are learning. Next, the individual style. The individual style, it is a unique combination of language units peculiar to a given writer, which makes his works easily recognizable. So when we say individual style, obviously, it's understandable that is very specific or very unique to every writer. As a writer, you have to be able to establish your individual style so that it would be easier for you to definitely have an audience or be able to probably gather an organic audience. Okay, when I say about organic, well, they don't just read your work for once, but definitely these group of people really idolize your style. That includes everything, how you write things, even your themes as well as a writer, and that whatever it is that you will create, definitely they are there waiting in every bookstore and just waiting for your work to be available. And they'll definitely grab it without hesitation. So you have to remember individual style. It's peculiar to any writer, especially those writers that are, of course, are considering writing as their means of living. So a lot of writers definitely haven't had, identified their individual style, so that means they still have a generic style. And that is kind of not really good, okay, if you have a generic style, because how could we distinguish you from other authors? Okay, next is the function. It is the role of the object in a certain system. So what is the function of this particular word in your write-up? Does it modify? Does it definitely function to, or do you write or include this to emphasize something? So that is function. Stylistics, always remember, it's a branch of linguistics investigating principles and results of selection, which definitely this selection is done by the author, right? Results of selection and use of lexical, the grammatical, the phonetic, and other language used for the transfer of thoughts and emotions and their different circumstances of communication. So in stylistics, it does not only cover poetry, does not only cover literary write-up, but even the non-literary. So it covers both literary and non-literary, maybe fiction or non-fiction. It can be studied in this branch of linguistics. So this is very interesting aspect or branch of linguistics that we have to study about. So now let's try to take a look at it in depth. What is stylistics? As mentioned, it is a branch of linguistics, or it is a subdiscipline of linguistics, and it is concerned with a systematic analysis of style in language. So when we say systematic, well, we don't just analyze a certain style of an author in spur of the moment, or we don't just kind of analyze them without following any steps or guidelines or principles, because in stylistics we analyze the style in language, of course written by the author, systematically. So there is a systematic analysis, and how this can vary according to factors such as if we are going to consider the genre of the text, the context, where it basically is written, the historical period. What is the period of this write-up? Well, is it Elizabethan era? Is it during the 20th century already, or is it still long time ago, during the time of Chaucer, maybe the time of Middle English or Old English thingy? So we have to consider the period when during the analysis, because it would really definitely come out. And of course the author, that is definitely very one of the most things that we have to consider, the author. Okay, so since the author can really be a factor, especially if that author has able to establish already his style, unique style. Next, let's proceed. Stylistics actually deals with two interdependent objectives, and the first one is that investigation of specific or special language media which secure the desirable effect of the utterance. So there are two things that we are going to take a look at in this time. There are stylistic devices and expressive means that we are going to elaborate further in the next slides. The second field of investigation is concerned with certain types of text which, due to the choice and arrangement of language means, are distinguished by the pragmatic aspect of communication. So it is now the functional styles of language. So pragmatic, when we say pragmatic, that now we are going to take a look at now the context, okay? Specific context where we definitely can point out the specific context of this particular phrase, or let's go generic, piece, may it be a poem or a certain short story or any types of literary or non-literary piece. So that not only that, but we are also going to take a look at the types of text in terms of choice and arrangement of language, not only the pragmatic aspects. So these is what we call as the functional style. Nobody has ever really known what the term stylistics means, and in any case, hardly anyone seems to care. This is according to Liz Circle in 1993, and in fact, he also mentioned that stylistics in the 20th century definitely may may just fall, or definitely he sees it as ailing, meaning it may not survive, and definitely it may just fade and be an obsolete um, sub-discipline of linguistics. But he is definitely wrong, because in fact contemporarily stylistics is pretty much alive, and is, if you knew, as you we all knew, it is offered as your major subject. Next, let's take a look at now lesson 2, which is all about modern stylistics. So what is this modern stylistics? Stylistics, we consider the modern stylistics things that we see in the early 21st century. Okay, and if Circle said that stylistic is ailing, that's how he sees it, but he definitely is very wrong. Actually, in the early 21st century, stylistics is pretty much alive and well, and in fact now it's already one of the courses offered in tertiary curriculum. It is taught and researched in university departments of not only language, but also literature and linguistics. And take note, this is not only offered, this is not only done, this is not only given focused in the Philippines, but all over the world. Modern stylistics is positively flourishing, witnessed in a proliferation of subdisciplines where stylistic methods that are enriched and enabled by theories of discourse, culture, and society. So definitely the modern stylistics is pretty much um, doing very well, and also the stylistic methods now are enhanced through the theories of discourse, but also not only discourse as well, but also culture and society. And as an example, we have some things like feminist stylistics, we also do have cognitive stylistics, and of course, class, even discourse stylistics. So these things are very much like testaments that now modern stylistics is really well taken care of, or I mean people embraced it with open arms. So we should not um, definitely be worried that it will be no it will die soon. No, it wouldn't die soon, okay, because it's pretty much flourishing. And in fact, example of the two theories, we have feminist stylistics. There are also things that we are going to consider under cognitive stylistics, and of course discourse stylistics. Now, stylistics has also become a much valued method in language teaching and in language learning, and stylistics in this pedagogical um, and stylistics as well definitely is being closely related to the sources of the system of language, since as what I told you, when we say stylistics, we take a look at the language used in literary or non-literary pieces. So it's something that we have to take a look at. And this pedagogical guides, if we are going to see, um, it has a close attention to the broad resources of the system of language, and it enjoys particular pride of place in the linguistic armory of learners of second languages. And also, stylistics is a method of textual interpretation, in which primacy of place is assigned to language. So we have here textual interpretation. The text's functional significance as discourse acts in turn as a gateway to its interpretation. So always remember, the functional significance of the text that we are going to study will definitely be our gateway to the interpretation of the text. And always remember, class, you have to be guided at the interpretation that we can come up here, if considering if we are going to undergo a stylistic analysis, would be an objective interpretation. Okay, now this time let's go to the final lesson that we will discuss in this video lecture, and that is lesson 3, and that is all about the purpose of stylistics. So why should we do stylistics? Now, why do we have to do this? Like maybe some of you could not see the need to study or to do stylistics analysis, but definitely we do have purpose why we do stylistics. First is to do stylistics is that we explore the language, and as language majors, it is our responsibility and it is our focus to be exploring language in different aspects. Not only in the world of lexicology, we do also explore the morphological features, the phonology, the pragmatics. We also explore syntax, of course, semantics, and more aspects that we are going to explore that is part of our major or focus. The second one is to explore creativity in language use, obviously, because here in stylistics we are going to specifically take a look at the style of the author and how the author play with language in order to express his creativity. Stylistics thereby enriches our ways of thinking about language, and as English majors, that is what we have to possess as language majors, is that we should always be thinking about the language and trying to take a look at on how we can enhance our knowledge about it. And exploring language, it offers a substantial purchase in our understanding of literary text, and I would love to add that also non-literary text. It tells us about the rules of language because it often explores text where those rules are bent, distended, or stretched to breaking point. Now here, the bending of rules or the violation or the breaking of rules is very much obvious or palpable in literary text, especially poetry. But since stylistics does not only limit its study in literary but also non-literary text, so that's why as we go along with our stylistic study or discourse, we will be exposed to models or theories that we will use to a specific genres. And of course, interest in language is always at the fore in contemporary stylistic analysis. You should never undertake to do stylistics unless you are interested in language, because if you are not interested in language, then you will find stylistic analysis or stylistic related study really rigorous. And of course, you would find it really daunting as well, so you may not find it fun. But if you are interested in language, then it will be so easy for you to engage yourself or to plunge yourself in the contemporary world of stylistics. The practice of stylistics is conforming to the 3 basic principles, and the 3 basic principles stipulate that stylistic analysis should be rigorous, okay, it should be retrievable, and it should be replicable. But in order for us to argue the rigorousness of stylistic analysis is by taking a look at into an explicit framework of a stylistic analysis. We wouldn't find doing a stylistic analysis rigorous if we have a framework in doing it. But if we don't have a specific framework, then it is really exhausting, it's daunting, it's rigorous. Next is to argue that stylistic method be retrievable means its analysis or is organized through explicit terms and of course criteria, the meanings of which are agreed upon by other students of stylistics. So when we are going to do stylistic analysis, we have to make sure that we organize things and we were able to communicate with it explicitly, and we were also able to set criteria, okay, in doing the stylistic analysis following a certain method, theory, or framework. Then stylistic analysis should be replicable. To say that a stylistic analysis seeks to be replicable does not mean that we should try to copy each other's work. No, it's not like that. But there definitely is, a lot of ways in order for us to make sure that it is not a replication of an already existing stylistic study, because why do we have to analyze a certain piece? This would boil down to the big world of research, stylistic research. Now, in order for us to analyze a certain piece with a purpose, of course, because there is a problem that we come across with, and that is why we have to conduct a stylistic analysis. And if it's a problem, meaning it hasn't answered yet, it hasn't solved yet, so that's why it is not a replication of already is what already has existed. Okay. Okay, that would be all for this episode of our video lecture. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to comment down below, or you may go to our Google Classroom and privately ask questions there, so that I would know if you understand our discussion for lesson 1 to 3, or if there are things that are still not clear, then I may give you clearance by answering your queries. Alright, so thank you very much, class, for watching this video lecture. I hope little by little you slowly have a love now for stylistics, and also I hope this video lecture helps you with your studies, especially that I give you in advance our handouts for Unit 1. Okay, so I'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.